of upset with you. So, if you're anything like me, you like to make stuff from scratch. You like to look up on the interwebs and figure out how to make it. I looked up how to make honey butter. Alright? When I look up how to make honey butter, if your ingredients include a stick of pre-made butter, that's not how to make honey butter. Gosh, that's not how to make butter, that's how to flavor butter. Good Lord. Good Lord. Pretty upset about this if you can't tell. So, today I am going to experiment my own recipe honey butter, hopefully mimicking Texas Roadhouse style honey butter. A delicious witchcraft of butter. This is butter from whipping cream, not flavoring butter that's already made. Ugh. Alright, so we're going to make some honey butter today. So I've got my recipe here, but we're going to experiment ourselves. Okay, while you're gathering ingredients, what you do is you take your whipping cream and get a high quality whipping cream. Have your kids start shaking this. That'll help you a lot. Alright, so have them start shaking this. Have a friend start shaking this. You start shaking it. Grab your ingredients. Ingredients list. Okay, for this, so you're going to need 1 quart of heavy whipping cream. Try and get the highest grade possible, because it's going to make your butter so much better. Alright, then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of salt, 6 tablespoons of honey. We're going to do 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. We're going to do 1 cup of powdered sugar. Alright, so this has already been shaken up a bit. You're going to need a bowl, and you need a big bowl. The bigger the walls are, the better, because this is going to splatter everywhere. This bowl always splatters everywhere. Alright, and then you're going to need a mixer. So we're going to take our whipping, actually what we're going to do, we're going to put our ingredients in first. I like pour it all in, all at once. Doesn't really matter. This is the fun part, 6 tablespoons. And I love honey, so it doesn't really matter to me. Now we take our whipping cream, pour it all in there. And the cool part about this recipe is, organic or otherwise, all you got to do is get organic ingredients if you want organic honey butter. Alright? You're not going to get organic American-made honey, because there's no such thing as organic American-made honey. Bees fly to different crops. They don't pick and choose organic from inorganic. But if you want organic honey butter, all you're going to do is trade your ingredients out for organic. I'm pretty sure Brazil has organic honey. They sell it at all sorts of stores. But that's all you got to do. Alright? And then we're going to start whipping. Now as you go through here, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're getting all the ingredients mixed up. So where all your ingredients were, you're going to get that side of the wall. And I would not put your mixer on. I would not put your mixer on full blast. Just put it on a low setting and go. This is going to take a while, so make sure you have some time. Scroll in the description below. You'll see all the ingredients. This recipe will make 1 pound of honey butter and about 2 cups of honey butter milk. So now you'll start seeing these ripples coming in. That means we're really close to the next step. There's a couple stages here. First you get whipping cream. Alright, mix that with your ingredients. Alright, after whipping cream, once you beat this enough, what you're going to have is essentially something like Cool Whip. Whipped cream. It's funny how that works, because that's how whipped cream's made. Just like this. After the whipped cream, it's going to start chunking. Now don't freak out when it starts chunking up. Alright, once we get to that step, I'll show you. And it'll start chunking up, and you'll start freaking out a little bit if this is your first time. Like, it's going to ruin your mixer or something. It's not going to ruin your mixer. You're going to be just fine. It'll be chunking up and it'll start separating. It'll be butter, and you'll have a nice buttermilk. This is also where buttermilk comes from. So once we get to those stages, I'll stop and I'll show you. So you see how this is nice and frothy now? This isn't really a liquid anymore. If you wanted to have some type of honey flavored, really sweet whipped cream, this would go great on like pumpkin pie or vanilla ice cream or something like that. Boom, you could stop right here. This is perfect whipped cream. And if you ever need to take a break through this process, feel free to take a break. There's no going back. Like, this isn't going to turn back into whipping cream, right? This is now whipped cream, and it's not going back. You know, I wouldn't leave it out for a day. For sure, I wouldn't leave it out for a day. It's going to get rotten. So now things are starting to get really, really chunky. You can see it. It's starting to chunk up, and you'll see all that buttermilk. This is just the liquid. This is the part, this is why you need a big wall bowl. The biggest bowl you can get, because this stuff, I mean, it's splashing everywhere. And since we put so much sugar in it, it's really sticky. So now something that'll make it a little less messy is we can take something, and I'm just going to use a mason jar here. I'm going to take this, kind of use our hand there and just drain some of that liquid out, being very careful not to get any big chunks, because those chunks are the butter. So we're going to do this nice and slow, but this will help separate that liquid from the actual butter. So that's the buttermilk we have so far. Really good stuff. In coffee, it's great. It's awesome. So we're just going to keep mixing. So it's really important to keep mixing, emptying out the buttermilk, and keep mixing and emptying out the buttermilk. The reason is, typically the thing that makes butter go bad is the fact that there's buttermilk in it, and it makes it sour quicker. So it's even worse with honey butter because we put so much sugar in it. So it's really important to try and get that stuff out of there. Essentially what you want to do is you want to be able to lift this up and not really see much more liquid in there. If you do, you can pour some out. I'm going to keep mixing this just to make sure. I'm going to keep mixing this just to make sure that I have as much out as possible. Alright, so now we're on to the next step. We're going to take all our butter and we're going to put it in a little ball here. Okay? And we're just going to squeeze much of the buttermilk out of the ball of butter. We're not losing a whole bunch of butter in the process. So we don't want the butter falling back in to our bowl. But if it does, we can just pick it up. Alright. Now it's all together. We're going to squeeze that buttermilk out. When you feel like gotten as much buttermilk out of this as possible. So now you have your butter. What I would do is I would take it, put it in a container. Boom. It's going to kind of mellow out there for you, but I would take it and mold it into something that's equivalent to half a stick of butter. So you can use half a stick of butter at a time, because this stuff does, since it's got a lot of sugar and fat in it, it goes bad pretty quickly. So typically butter, when it's salted, can last for 12 months in the freezer. When it's unsalted, 6 months. So I would venture to say that this one will last 6 months in the freezer and it'll still be good. I would say in the refrigerator, it'll probably last half a week. And that's the hard part with real butter, is it's not easy to spread. So leaving it out, I would use it that day that I leave it out, so that way it doesn't go super bad. Now I've had this out for a week before and it was okay, but I wouldn't want you to risk it. So that's our butter. The cool part about making butter is you get buttermilk. The best part about making honey butter is this buttermilk is now a spiced buttermilk. This is great with coffees, anything that can take lactose or milk without curdling. You can mull it. This is awesome. Super tasty stuff. Very, very fatty. So if you're on a diet, don't drink this. But it's awesome. Tastes delicious. So that's how to make honey butter. I'll give you guys the taste test in a little bit. I'm going to have Jess taste this and get her the seal of approval. All in all, I would say between getting everything together and actually blending it, since there's more ingredients on the inside, I would set aside anywhere from a half an hour to an hour and a half. You know, different temperatures, humidities, things like that are going to take part or play a part in how this turns out and how quickly things go. So definitely set aside a good chunk of time for yourself to actually make this and make it right, because you're going to need the time. All right. Test of approval. You have to be on camera. Yay or nay?
That's super good.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You're
It
very
tastes
on
like-
camera.
You know when you make toast and you put cinnamon sugar and butter on toast?
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like. I said have that a lot. No, I was kidding. That is bomb. Wow.
Good?
Yes.
Good.
I'm so happy. This is so delicious.
Yeah, everything's sticky, so.
Yeah, but you flow butter.